Hi, I'm Lena Kennedy, President of Alexandria Professional. Although we've been in the beauty industry for the last 25 years, we're finally putting a very strong foot forward in the health and wellness industry. And we're going to start with this tutorial to help you manage your pain at home, especially when it comes to localized pain like a bum shoulder or a knee or maybe some arthritic hands. What we want to show you here today is how easy it is for you to prepare our Hungarian wellness mud and do your own localized joint pack at home. So follow us here. It's going to be very simple. Pot of water. You need to have a Tupperware, and the Tupperware can be this size or even smaller as you wish. Your pot has to accommodate the size of your Tupperware. And what we want at the end of the day, we don't want to put this at the bottom of the pot. So I've got this small colander that I'll put down, and then I'll put the Tupperware full of mud, we'll mix it up with you in a minute, into the pot. And at the end, I want, when this all goes into the water, that the water raises up to here so that it surrounds the mud, and as the temperature rises and the condensation goes around, then all the mud becomes heated equally. So let's go through that now. Okay, so your pot's all ready to go. I've already got the colander in there, and I've turned the temperature on high because we need to get at least to a boiling point. While that's going, we're going to start to mix our mud. Generally, for joint therapy, we need to have like a thick batter, almost like a thick cake batter consistency. And how we get that is 2 of these containers, so 2 muds, 2 parts mud to 1 part water, which means I'll pour these 2 muds in here, and I'll fill one of the containers with, bottled water, or I'm going to use my filtered water, anything, distilled water, whatever you have, just not tap water, and pour it in, and we'll mix it. Okay, so we're ready to play in the mud. Woohoo! Don't forget to take out our little shovel there. We'll fill that one up with water. Now, as you can see, I've got my kitchen gloves on. I always get them a little bit big so they slide off my hand easier after, but that's what I'm going to use to mix the water and the mud. Then you're going to pour your water in. And you can hear the noise. It's like bubbling in here as it travels through all the little mud particles. Take your time, just scoop it from down under, bring it over, and just keep blending it that way. Now this doesn't have to be messy. I've got my silk dress on and I'm not worried about it because I know what I'm doing, but if you go too fast then the mud will splatter. And if it does splatter, and let's say it lands on your wall or on your floor, or even if you have carpeting, don't fret, let it dry completely dry before you touch it, and you'll see that it just scrapes off very easily afterwards. Okay, so now you want to really squeeze the mud and blend all the dry mud until it's all mixed. You want no dry mud here. You have to go to the bottom, bring it up. I'll show you what the consistency looks like as soon as we're done. Pulling at my glove here a little bit. You can wear tighter gloves than me. I just like it when it's very easy to take them off. The 2-to-1 factor is your marker. It's your marker for mixing it. Sometimes you might feel like you need a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. You'll see what it should look like. I think if I was doing putting my hands for arthritis, I might add a little bit more water, make it softer. So we have a general good idea of what it should be like here. You can see how it's firm, but it's still, whoops, it's still very easy to manipulate. That's what you want. You want it kind of this nice, chunky, soft, chunky texture. And now we're ready to put it in to the pot. Even if it's not boiling, it's okay. It'll get there. Obviously, I'm going to take my glove off and squeeze the mud off because it's, you know, we want to salvage all the mud we can off the gloves. Get rid of my gloves. And we're just going to pop it in here. Right on top of that colander. We put the lid on, and what's going to happen now as it heats, the condensation will happen, and the condensation from here will keep dripping into the mud. You want that to happen. That's what keeps your mud from drying out, and then you just keep blending it in afterwards. So here's the consistency you want your mud to be at for your localized therapy at home. It's like a nice thick cake batter. It doesn't stay stuck in your hand, it falls out, but it doesn't dribble out. You're going to put your lid on and let it heat up to between 42 and 44 degrees Celsius or 107 to 111 Fahrenheit. You don't want to go much hotter because it will be too warm for your skin. The temperatures we're recommending to you are perfect, and it's exactly what they use for their therapies in Hungary at their hospitals. So here it is, what I was talking about, the condensation. It'll just keep dripping into the mud. That's okay. That's how you're going to keep your mud moist. Otherwise it would dry out. Okay, so I hear it boiling. I'm going to turn the temperature down to medium-low. And now you can see all that condensation I was talking about. Yeah, it's really boiling. We don't want it to continue to boil that high, so I've turned it right down. And it's time to check the temperature. So let's just stick this. And you might get hot spots. You might take it a couple of times. I'll just stick it right there, and let's see where that leads. You see there's some already dry edges here. What I normally do is just to add a touch of water just on the edges, just to wet it. And sometimes you could even just do a little bit of a spray. You can mix that extra water in after. Okay, so looks like we're just over 70 Fahrenheit. We still have a little ways to go, but just to confirm, remember I said you might have hot spots, cold spots? Let's go over here and see what happens. Yeah, see we're closer to 80 here. Still have a ways to go. I'll do one more check here. Yeah, we're at 80, so I'm going to keep going. I put it down to medium-low. I'm going to let it keep warming up, and I'll come back and check it in 5 minutes. All right, testing the temperature again. Oh, you can see it jumping now. Doesn't take long once it's been sitting there in the hot water. See it jumping. You know, check around for hot spots. Right now it's just about at 100. I'm going to go right here and see what we have here. A little cooler. So you can tell here it's already 110. So I'm going to take it out now, because once I mix the hot spot with the rest, it'll be between 107. It'll be close enough, because now, see right here, it's at 112. Yeah, time to take it out. Okay, so now we're ready to blend it one more time. Okay. And you know, if for some reason you overheated it and you're trying to mix it and it hurts, burns, then stop. Give it a few minutes to cool down. Because that one section I told you to be careful in the beginning for hot spots, that one section was getting very high. So I'm going to let this cool down for a few minutes and come right back. But you can see how it's so lovely. But it will be a little bit too hot right now. We'll let it, I'll just keep playing with it, and then we'll let it cool down a little bit and get ready for the application. All right, our mud is absolutely perfect for the joint therapy. Scoop out, make sure you don't drop it, but scoop out. Plop it on. Make sure you don't just, let it fall off the skin. Scoop, plop. You want see how it just rolls down? You want it nice and thick all around the joint of the shoulder. And one more. Lots of pressure. How this works is by the minerals, the pressure, and the thermal value. That's what helps you to treat your joints or your pain levels. Okay, and if it falls down, remember I said let it dry and it comes right off. Here you have a choice. You can keep it just like that for 20-30 minutes. You can put, I would suggest putting maybe a pillowcase over top, because if you put a pillowcase over top and maybe tie it under the arm or let it stay under the arm, it's very easy to wash it off or roll the product off the pillowcase. Or you can leave it just like this, 20-30 minutes, and it will come back and take it off. Okay, so we've reached 20 minutes, but before I take it off, because you can go 20 to 30 minutes is okay, I decided to put the pillowcase to hold things in place. Sometimes when we do the full joint therapy, which is actually only for therapists, we lay them down. But in this case, I use the pillowcase to keep everything in place. Plus, it allows me to show you how easily you can clean it up afterwards. But before we go ahead and take it out, I think it's important that I share with you the real unique value of the Hungarian Wellness Mud. Not only is it registered by the Ministry of Health of Hungary as curative, they've been using it for more than 100 years in their medical spas, you can call. I know all about them because I had the privilege of visiting and actually being treated there. And I was also trained by their experts. All right, let's take this right off. You just have to scoop and put it back into your Tupperware. I should have put my other glove on, but I didn't. It's okay. You want to, scrape as much as you can, and the rest you just wash off or go into the shower. And that's it. Like I said, wash it off or jump into the shower. Thank you. Okay, we're done. She's gone to the shower. I'm going to take a spatula and scrape off what's on my gloves because, waste not, want not. And like I said earlier, the reason I like large gloves is they slide right off. You can just scrape it off this way. As much as you can. Scrape your size of your Tupperware, make sure everything goes to the center again. I'll take a cloth, wash the outer edges. I will add maybe half a cup of purified water, distilled, whichever you're using, and just sprinkle it in, blend it a bit, put the lid on, and refrigerate it. And the next time I want to do this, which is basically every other day for 15 treatments minimum, if you really want to really kick the pain away to last a longer time, you'll do one treatment every other day. And then of course, you're probably wondering, what is she doing with this on her face? 60% silicon dioxide. Silicon dioxide is a building block of collagen from skin to bone. So whenever I do my regime at home for my face, I always use the mud in my regime. So I thought I'd show you that while you're doing a therapy, you can also do a little facial mask. Put your lid on, refrigerate it, add a little bit of water, and then when you come back for the next day, you do it exactly as we did. Prepare your pot, put it in, temp it, and put it on again. It's as simple as that. And if you need to know any more, you can go to HungarianWellnessMud.com or you can reach us at 800-957-8427. Thank you so much. Good luck.